Aloha, man has new internet. I'm pretty happy with that download speed. As for that upload, we'll just have to see how it goes for the future of streaming. If it ends up causing problems, we'll get to that when we get to that. But I'm kind of stuck with this as new internet goes, so we'll take it as it is. But I'm pretty happy with it as a whole, and hopefully it can help improve stream quality a little bit as we go ahead. That being said, there's a schedule I need to do. I'm doing this very late Friday evening because I realized I didn't actually have one ready for the morning, and I'm usually pretty on top of it, but where I was just worrying about, changing internet and whatnot, it ended up falling by the wayside just a teeny tiny bit. But the schedule, after much thought, is going to go something like this. Castlevania Aria of Sorrow, probably like the other GBA Vanias, will take 2 streams at most. So I was thinking both Saturday and Sunday, so today and tomorrow at time of upload, we just knock out Castlevania. So instead of making it so we're juggling projects again, if it's only going to be 2 streams, we can get them both done together, right? So Saturday and Sunday will be Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. Starting Monday, we will begin Knights of Azure 2. Because I am genuinely really curious to see what they changed from the last game to this one. I want to see how they change things up, and even if it ends up bleeding into later in August, if it ends up being a lot longer than the first game and somehow bleeding into, Genshin 3.0 and Soul Hackers 2, it's a different game to those games, and so I don't think it will confuddle or cause problems too much. The reason why I don't want to do a JRPG right now is because I don't want to be in the middle of one and then have another JRPG at the same time come out that I want to play with Soul Hackers, I feel like juggling those two would be a lot more awkward and a lot less fun for me to try and handle, and probably less fun for you to keep up with. But Knights of Azure 2, it's got RPG stuff and it's definitely Japanese, but it's an action game first and foremost. And so I feel like it's easier to kind of blend it in if it goes that long, which, to be fair, if the first game's anything to go by, it won't anyway. Speaking of JRPGs though, shifting gears slightly, I've become aware, because I've said before that I plan to tackle Atelier Sophie at some point after Soul Hackers. I've become aware that going from Sophie 1 to Sophie 2 isn't kind of what the devs had in mind. What I mean is, Atelier Sophie is a part of something called the Mysterious Trilogy, where there was 2 more Atelier games that came out soon after that give off more pieces of a narrative and more pieces of a collection that you're supposed to play all of them, whilst Atelier Sophie 2 is just the second game in this collection that happens to be from Sophie's perspective, if that makes sense. So really, I should go Sophie, Faris, I can't remember what the third one's called, there's one of the twins, and then Sophie 2. So, I'm not saying that that's going to be the plan, I'm just saying that's something I'm keeping in mind after Soul Hackers 2, when I eventually do decide to take on more Atelier games and go into that rabbit hole, because let's be honest, it will be. I've been looking into it and I've realised there is a ton of Atelier games that are on modern platforms that I wouldn't mind trying out. Not every single one. The Dusk trilogy I'm not that interested in looking into it, but the Ryza duology, I've played Ryza 1 and loved it, but that was many moons ago, so I kind of want to go through it and live stream it. I've never played Ryza 2, so I definitely want to try that out. And the Atelier Sophie duology, the only reason I took interest in the first place is because Sophie 2 has a blue reflection dungeon in it. But doing all of them together, I just think makes sense. Doing them all together like that, I just think it'll work out. We'll do Sophie, maybe we'll jump then to Faris, and then the last one, and before we get to Sophie 2. So it might be a while before we get to Sophie 2 to see the blue reflection dungeon, but if anything, it might make the reference to blue reflection more heartfelt because it's so far away. What that means though, and yes, I'm aware this is coming a bit more than just a schedule update, but more of a general one, is that some projects I said I was going to do at the start of the year are almost definitely going to get pushed into next year by now. That being Tales of Arise. Tales of Arise, back in January, I said I really wanted to tackle it this year, and I still really do, but there's other things I want to tackle first, and looking at the schedule for the rest of the year, I don't see how Tales of Arise is going to fit in anytime soon, so it might wait until next year. Similarly, that Pixel remaster of Final Fantasy IV never made it to consoles, at least we're halfway through the year and it hasn't, so that's unlikely to either. That's unlikely to be on the schedule this year either. That's another, we just gotta wait and see what happens. But outside of the Atelier games, so we've got Knights of Azure 2. Knights of Azure 2, from that point onwards, to get back to the schedule, because I've completely lost track of it, is going to cover the rest of the week, effectively. If we finish it early, I'll figure something out. But it's effectively going to cover the rest of the week. So Saturday and Sunday is going to be Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday will be Knights of Azure 2. Easy? Simple? We all good? Anyway, track of the week, I'm actually going to give to good old champion Cynthia from the 4th generation of Pokemon. Any variant of her theme or her piano, I think they all deserve a lot of credit and love, and in general are amazing. Character of the week is going to be Testaments from Guilty Gear Strive. As we approach Season 2, because that might be this month if Evo is anything to go by, I wanted to celebrate a character that I think really deserves the love, and Testaments, they are amazing. I think they are very interesting, very out there character, even for Guilty Gear standards. I adore their playstyle, I adore how they work, I adore their place in the narrative. I think in general, Testament is fantastic. Question of the week, to keep it topical of what's going on right now, what announcement are you hoping will happen at EVO this weekend? EVO being a giant fighting game tournament, like the big one, used to be known as Battle by the Bay. It's got a lot of big development studios at it, a lot of big games at it, a lot of announcements could happen. What are you hoping will show there? Any surprises? Any things that you think are easy bets? What are you hoping for? For me, it's more info on the future of Skullgirls, maybe what that last DLC character is, or just a little bit more like finished designs on Dahlia. Guilty Gear Season 2, we pretty much know that's going to get a new character announcement during the finals. And to be honest, a new Street Fighter 6 character, whether that's a genuine new character or one of the returners getting shown off, I just want to see more of SF6 because that game looks phenomenal. Even coming from someone who's not the biggest SF guy, that game looks fantastic. And I'm going to wrap it here. This turned into a bit more of a general update video, so I might keep this one up and just relabel it as general update and schedule. So sorry for making this a bit longer, but there were things I wanted to talk about. Do also let me know what you think about the whole Atelier situation, whether you want me to do like the Mysterious Trilogy when I get to that, or whether you want me to do Sophie 1 then Sophie 2, whether you want me to skip Faris and the Twins game. Like, let me know if you want me to do that on that, because right now I'm kind of debating doing the whole trilogy and then getting to Sophie 2. But it means Riser, and Riser 2 will get pushed back further, but we'll sort that out as we go. Just throwing it out there. What would you like to see? That kind of attitude. But, as always, thank you so much for watching and continuing to support me. You can follow me on Twitter. I feel like I should be making a point to mention this. It's always in the description of every stream I do. You can follow me on Twitter, where you can I won't respond to DMs, but you can comment on any post or tag me in things you find it interesting, and I'll try and get back to you and whatnot. Obviously, don't be a dick and don't tag me in stuff I'm probably not going to be interested in, but you can have the conversation, you can get me in, and I'll happily try and respond to you and have a dynamic with you. And it might be easier for me to, like, if you're curious about something, like say we finish a game earlier, you can tag me in something and be like, oh, what's the plan? And I can be like, oh, okay, it's yada yada yada, plan to do this, etc, etc. Additionally, I always feel like a bad guy bringing it up, but I feel like I need to. I feel like just it's the nature of the system nowadays. I do have a Patreon. Never feel like you have to do it. Please, if you feel like you're struggling or you're not sure, please don't. But if you're in a position where you feel that you can and you want to, that's the key one, want to, please, I would greatly appreciate the support on Patreon. I want to be able to do this as a job one day, and that's only going to happen if I get my foot in the door to begin with. But I'll wrap it here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next live stream, which should be the same day this uploads. Anyway, take care. Peace.